You're not a procrastinator. You have a habit of procrastinating. Big difference. Because if it's a habit, I can teach you to use science to break it.
When you are depressed, you don't want to get out of bed. You don't want to be bothered with anyone. But overcoming depression is going to require that you get up and engage with life again.
Procrastination has nothing to do with work. The people that write to us the most that struggle with procrastinating: PhD students, engineers, entrepreneurs, people that have a lot on their plate, that have a lot of things that they need to juggle, and that are analytical and thinkers by nature. Procrastination is a form of stress relief.
Your brain is the most powerful weapon in the world. Once you put away your phones and your computers and all that we have nowadays, yeah, that's great. We're up to date. But your brain is the only thing you have when you're going through depression, when you're going through hard times, when you're going through death.
When you catch yourself procrastinating, forgive yourself. Step one. The next time you catch yourself procrastinating, step one is forgive yourself. And there's a really profound reason why.
I want to ask you something. Do you remember that guy who was super successful in all areas of his life? The one who said he will get to it tomorrow. Exactly. No one remembers him because he doesn't exist. He never became successful in any area of his life because he is still waiting for tomorrow.
Imagine you're in an amotivated state. You're just not feeling motivated. You're procrastinating. You may think, okay, the thing to do here is something. I'll clean the house. I'll take care of some bills. I'll do something. Or I'll just wait. Those approaches, as we talked about before, generally don't work, or at least don't work quickly. Or they lead you right up to the deadline, and that's the deadline that forces you to get something done. Or you just don't get it done and you don't succeed in your goal. That happens a lot as well.
Everybody's great when they're not tired. This is when they tired, that's when the real champions come out. That's when that real dog come out.
I am the greatest fighter of all times. And when I hit you with a hard right hand, you will fall.
Everything is always impossible until someone does it.
Never say never, because limits, like fears, are often just an illusion.
If you look at the greats in any walk of life, the greats do things when they don't always want to. And that's the separation.
Procrastination is a form of stress relief. Let me explain this. So let's say that you've got some stuff going on in your life, and heck, who doesn't have stuff going on in your life? Maybe you're fighting with your significant other.
When you are feeling down, the worst thing you can do is isolate yourself, because isolation actually intensifies sadness. So I recommend finding a distraction that will shift your energy.
Fear that you have. What happens when you struggle with procrastinating, and thank you for being so honest. There's
real life. You can't Google that, man. You're alone. You're alone. You may have a shrink you're going to, you may have a best friend you're going to, but there's 24 hours in the day where you're alone in this brain, and your brain is talking to you in all kinds of ways, and it wants to control you and pull you in these different pockets. If you can't control your own brain and your brain controls you, you're
That's a major difference between successful people and unsuccessful people. Urgency. Successful people want it now, so they take action now. You don't get given time. You make time. You are the timekeeper of your life. You decide where to allocate your time.
procrastination is not about laziness. It's not about a lack of discipline. It's not something you do because you're dumb. Procrastination is a coping mechanism. You just have a desire to feel good right now, and you deserve that. You have a desire to lessen the stress in your life, and you deserve to lessen the stress in your life. I get it. And this first step to forgive yourself.
However, if you were to take that state of being unmotivated, or procrastinating, and actually do something that's harder than being in that amotivated state, you can rebound yourself out of that dopamine trough much more quickly.
And I've always believed like I'm the Michael Jordan of this industry. When I'm on the air, I'm the one that will make you want to hear from me. I don't care who I'm on the air with. I don't care who it is. It does not matter to me. By the time I finish speaking, I am the one that you're going to want to listen to. That's my attitude.
And next thing you know, an hour's gone by. And then, of course, what do? You beat yourself up. So the only way that you can break this habit, and that's an important word for you to hear, you're not a procrastinator. You have a habit of procrastinating.
But my background and my expertise didn't stop me from encountering my own dark moments that even my family and close friends knew nothing about. And I didn't just feel down every now and then. I went through depression. I went through a persistent feeling of sadness and hopelessness.
You carry around this dark cloud because you don't think you're going to make it. You're stressed about money all the time. Or maybe your mom's health is declining and that really stresses you out. Or maybe your best friends are going through a divorce or you're going through a divorce and that really stresses you out.
You got to tell your brain where you want to go and how you want to go and how you want to get there. You got to control it. If not, it's over. I realize if I keep going back and going back and going back until this just becomes, your mind will say, okay, we're going to figure it out, because he is not going to stop. Like a lot of people say, trying hard. Your mind knows, man. It knows this guy's bull. I mean, man, this guy's lying. There's no truth behind it. When I was in Navy SEAL training, people go, how were you there for 18 months?
Big difference. Because if it's a habit, I can teach you to use science to break it. You see, all habits have three parts. There's a trigger, and in the case of procrastination, the trigger's always stress. Then there's a pattern you repeat, and in the case of procrastination, it is to avoid doing something. And then there's a reward. You get a little stress relief. The only way to break a habit, you guys, is not to deal with the triggers.
Hungry people don't wait. Hungry people want it now. They take action now. They lock in the dates now. They set the goals, the targets, and the deadlines now.
Studying procrastination for 2 days. That is a dedicated person right there, and we thank you for your service to all of us. His research found that people who forgive themselves are less likely to procrastinate again. In fact, there was a study that he did. I want to turn to the page. I got the book right here.
So what do I mean you want to put yourself in a state that's worse than or harder than the state that you're in, or do something quote unquote more painful? And here I want to be very clear. I'll say this 3 times, but I'm going to say it for the first time now. When I say more painful, I do not mean doing any kind of tissue damaging or psychologically damaging behavior or anything of that sort that's going to render you injured or not well, even in the short term. That's not what I'm referring to, okay? Let's just get that one out of the way.
If this requires 100% and you give me 99, I might want to fire you. Because I'm about getting the job done.
Sure.
It's about the results. And I think that, unfortunately, when we look at our generation today, not enough people preach about that. Because I think that we live in a society where people have become masters at pointing the finger at other people as to reasons why things don't get done. I think there's too much explanation that goes on.
Because I always felt alone in my battle, I didn't realize just how common depression was. I had no idea that 1 out of 10 people will experience depression during their lifetime. Do me a favor. Check on the people who are close to you. In most instances, the people who appear happy and appear strong are rarely asked how they are doing because people assume their lives are perfect.
The trick is starting. You see, I want to break the connection between the trigger, which is stress, and the response, which is procrastination. And whenever you feel stress, which is normal, you have a choice. Here's that gap. In 5 seconds flat, the habit of procrastinating and beating yourself up will take over. Or you can close the gap, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you can make a different choice. I'm just gonna get started. I'm just gonna be okay with where I'm at, and I'm just gonna get started. Got it?
Acknowledge the stress. Then go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I want you to count to yourself because I want you to interrupt the habit that's stored here, and I want you to awaken your prefrontal cortex. Then I want you to just work, just for 5 minutes. The reason why I want you to only work for 5 minutes is because your problem isn't working. It's the habit of avoiding. I just need you to start. And here's the other cool thing. We know based on research that if we can get you to start, 80% of you are going to keep going.
When I was 297 pounds and I was fat as hell trying to be a Navy SEAL, the scariest thing in the world to me, even to this day, was that could have been the rest of my life. I thought then I was trying hard. That's the scariest thing in the world. I thought then, 297 pound, working for Ecolab, spraying for cockroaches, making $1,000 a month.
I am of the belief that if you truly adopt that belief in your soul, then you walk to work every day not looking for excuses. You're looking for a way for the job to get done. And in most instances, you are going to be successful than not. You want to go with status quo. You're perfectly, fine with flowing along, just
Safe,
to get along,
secure.
safe, secure, whatever. But when you're trying to win, you're constantly looking to get better.
Not when they're ready. Not when it's all perfect. Now. If you want it, you push for it now. They regret not living the life they deserved because they always put it off for another day. Do not be one of those people. Get hungry. Develop urgency.
Just go, wow, I haven't opened my bills in 2 months? I must be really nervous about this. I forgive myself for not doing that. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna just do the best that I can. I'm gonna face this head on. Because the next step that you're gonna take, once you forgive yourself, you gotta recognize that you're doing it.
In those circumstances, it makes sense to do something that's tangential to the whole path that you're trying to pursue, this goal that you're trying to pursue. That is, believe it or not, much worse than just being amotivated. And when I say worse, I don't mean picking some task that normally you don't like to do, but now you're willing to do. I mean, literally thinking about what would be worse than being in this state? Again, without causing yourself tissue or psychological damage. What would be worse?
You may not have considered this, but sometimes the person who is smiling every time you see them is privately battling depression. Yes, you can fool everyone else, but you can't fool yourself. You can't fool the person in the mirror, the person that you look at every single day.
I thought that was me at my 100% potential. Come to find out, a few years later, I wasn't anywhere near that. 106 pounds less, graduated Navy SEAL training, went on to do all these other things. Looking back on that, that was me trying hard.
We make excuses every day, all of us as human beings. On far more occasions than not, I have to speak on the issue of accountability as it pertains to the entire sports world. And when it comes to the issue of accountability, I get all of that from Mom.
They cannot coexist. Find that thing that you love so much, you will work day and night for it. Find that reason that burns so bright, you will fight for it every day of your life.
And I get it. When you appear to have it all together, it's not easy to let your guard down and say, hey, I'm struggling. For some, happiness comes easy, but for most of us, happiness requires intention. Are you willing to fight for your happiness? It is my hope that joy and peace will track you down and give you the endurance you need to keep pushing.
In 10 years' time, you do not want to be one of those people who wish they started 10 years ago. Start now. The future you is begging you to start now.
Today is the day. When are you going to stop lying to yourself? When are you going to be honest with yourself? Those who say tomorrow never succeed. There is no tomorrow. Today is the day.